cage for hours. Please.
Greetings and salutations! Welcome to Cage's Kiss, the Nicolas Cage-based podcast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life! We also glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. And I am Je suis Charlie, or Nicolas Cage, or rather, I'm Adrian.
And hi, my name is Linda, but this week you can call me... What? Donnie? Donnie? Where did you go? Where did you go?
Somewhere looking
His
down
clothes
at
are
you
empty.
As you're
Oh,
burning in hell.
We better rifle his pockets.
Quick, loot all his shit.
Are you a ghost cheese because Jesus doesn't exist for you?
See you both in hell.
My name's Linda, and I've been left behind.
And I'm Donnie, the bringer of death.
So they have those bumper
You to
stickers.
say bringer of tits, and I was like,
Well,
Yeah, both, whatever. Tit death, like in Nemesis 4.
tit for tat.
So they got those bumper stickers that say, in the event of rapture, this car will be left driverless. And speaking of humble brag, what 2014 mistake did we do for our movie this week?
Yeah. Well.
What the hell?
well, much like Kirk Cameron, we got left behind.
Oh, fuck. Speaking of things that hurt your dick.
Yeah. In a spiritual
So-
way.
I have
Well-
a positive argument for this movie.
I'm sure you do.
Well, it's
Is
really
it the
it's really
diversity?
quick. No. Oh
Oh.
God. Oh yeah. Well, I'll say something about that later. But with all the shit going on in the world, I know a lot of
There's some shit.
people are anxious and sad because they feel like the world is ending. But if you watch this, you are guaranteed to stop thinking about why is the world ending and start thinking, when will it fucking end? So, I mean, there's that plus side, that silver lining there.
Well, there it is.
Hmm.
Well, let me tell you a little story. This was October 3rd of the 2014. And this movie here cost the $16 million. And it earned the $27 million. And somehow it opened at number 6. Behind Annabelle, Gone Girl, The Equalizer, The Maze Runner. And so to recap, some people actually watched this instead of a David Fincher movie. Which is pretty... Gone Girl, like I said.
Oh.
Yeah. Talking about the sad girl. The original Left Behind the movie opened at number 17 on February 2nd, 2001. That's after having already premiered on video the year before. When you got the video of it, you got a free ticket to go see the movie.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And so to prepare this week, by the way, I rewatched the 2000 Kirk Cameron Left Behind the movie.
I started to, but then I just thought, like, no, Linda, you're better than this.
Well,
You know,
then
in
got
some
left
ways-
behind.
In some ways, the Kirk Cameron one's better than this one. That's the sad thing.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, okay. So I'd seen Left Behind before and Left Behind 2 Tribulation Force because back in college, I was sophomore year, we rented those two movies from Hollywood Video, and we also got a shitload of liquor. And we sat down and we watched both the movies, and over the course of them, I think I had about 24 shots.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it didn't make them any less boring, but after a little while, I'm like, that shot's pretty well composed. And then Eric tried to strangle me, and I punched him in the face.
That checks out.
Yeah. And our friend Chris needed to borrow the trash can because he needed to vomit a whole lot, and he couldn't say anything to us other than "fuck you." So some of you may already know that this and the 2000 movie are all based on the popular series of End Times Christian books.
In time.
which were written by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins, which is a real name, apparently. Jerry B. Jenkins, here to tell you about the end of it all, partner. Yes, sir, Jesus is going to call you home. He's going to shuck you right out your clothes, boy. Some of you might have seen the 2000 version before this, like me. I don't know. I mean, if you didn't, I don't blame you one bit. But that one's about how there's this rapture, and like in the Bible or some shit, and a whole bunch of people just vanish except for their clothes. For the Bible, yep, it tells of the end times, yep. And like in the Bible, the Antichrist emerges, and it's this guy named Carpathia who's the head of the UN. I've seen a few different of these Christian rapture like end times apocalypse series now, and they all have the villain being in the United Nations. They hate the United Nations.
Wasn't that also oh Christ, the Omen?
There's the apocalypse. No, the Omen didn't involve the UN, I don't think, but it does involve Europe. But there's
I think
but also
the dad is always like an ambassador or something.
Yeah, he was an ambassador. Yeah, but in the 70s, in 1972, you get one of the first of these series. You get the Thief in the Night series, and that one has the UN taking over after the rapture. And that one, everybody gets branded with this mark that's binary for 666, and one of the characters figures it out. Yeah, no, and there's a song from that got recycled in this, I'm pretty sure. And then in 98 there was the Apocalypse series where Nick Mancuso plays the Antichrist, a guy named Macaluso, who's the head of the UN also. And in that one, he just goes on TV and says, yeah, I'm the Messiah and shit. And everybody's really into it. And some people are like, wait a minute, what about the Bible? And they're like, oh, that's just superstition. It's like, wait a minute, what? Why are people selecting random bullshit to... Oh, wait, I guess that's real life. Okay, all right, whatever. Yeah.
Checks out.
And around the same time, there was the Omega Code also, which got made with Michael York. And actually, Megiddo Omega Code 2, which had Michael Bain, was one of the first movie appearances of Chad Michael Murray, who's in this.
Oh.
Yeah, Chad Michael Murray, who was in the 2005 version of House of Wax and a Cinderella Story. Chad Michael Murray is the one who plays the reporter. He plays the Kirk Cameron character in the 2014 version.
Chad Michael Murray.
Chad Michael Murray. Na 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 na. Anyway, so anyway, the books are about the Antichrist and all that shit, and a bunch of people are like, I got left behind. I'm not right with God. I better get right with God. This 2014 version, though, is mostly an airline disaster movie.
Yes.
Like, the Antichrist actually doesn't appear in this version, which helps to some degree. However, you're stuck in first class with a bunch of really obnoxious people, which does not help.
It's kind of like the Tommyknockers without the Tommyknockers. Well, actually, no, the Langoliers. It's the Langoliers without the
I was going to say, yeah,
and
right.
without the Antichrist.
Yeah, no,
without anything interesting.
Yes. Cage depressurizes the cabin when people are freaking out, trying to chill out the passengers and stuff. So wouldn't that be about the time for passenger Jordan Sparks to ask, tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air?
Mm-hmm.
How do you expect me? Oh God. Okay, so this is a catastrophe. This is directed by a guy named Vic Armstrong, who did a movie with Dolph Lundgren called Army of One, aka Joshua Tree, which I think I've seen, but I'm not sure because I think that's one of those that's just interchangeable with all those straight-to-video action movies shot in the desert. And the guy also did some family bullshit called A Sunday Horse, but he's mostly a stunt coordinator.
Which also had, what's her name, who plays Claire in this? Or, Chloe, excuse me.
Oh, Chloe?
Cassie Thompson.
Yeah, Cassie Thompson. She's from Australia, and she was on Big Love or something.
Yeah.
Apparently, they wanted Ashley Tisdale to play that part originally, but she punked out.
Good for her.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe Ashley Tisdale would have been less annoying than Cassie Thompson as Chloe. You know, because
Hattie, Nikki Whalen's also Australian.
There's a bunch of
Pretty
Australians.
cool,
Yeah. They can't help it. Time I can't run down sport.
They didn't ascend.
That's right, they went down
Is
under.
there a message here?
God don't love any place that used to be a prison.
What
a weird type of racism or like bigotry.
Oh well, no. There's a lot. There's a lot for the racism discussion in this one, but we'll get into it in a minute.
Yes.
So the screenwriters were Paul Lalonde and John Pattis, who actually worked on the original Left Behind series and other end times Christian movies. It's like their specialty. They're like, I can't write a story that doesn't have the Antichrist in it and rapturing. It's just not possible.
Like, I'd
It's
like
like,
to
come
edit your
up-
script. Our editor is Jesus. Oh.
Well,
It-
Paul
it-
Lalonde also served as producer.
Well, what a
He
bang up
said,
fucking job. Did he pick the effects team for this?
I think so. Because
We got a real Stuart
also,
Baird quality air crash in this shit.
He also described this as a true story that hasn't happened yet. He said, quote, I like to think of it as a
Yes, people, they really
reenactment
believe that
of
shit. Yes.
actual events. Yeah,
I like to think of this movie as a Hallmark movie that makes a woman think that could happen to
Yes.
me.
Yes, exactly.
People, this was almost as good as a Hallmark movie.
Almost.
And speaking of which, because I was like the whole time watching it, I was thinking this is a fucking Hallmark movie,
Yeah.
and I looked up oh god, we were just saying his fucking name too, Chad Michael Murray,
Chad Michael Murray.
and he has a couple of those like Hallmark.
Of course he
esque
does.
movies under his belt too.
Of course
so-
he does, because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. 'Cause
Fuck
in his
him.
In his interview, for the talking about the movie, he was saying that he prepared by reading the whole the series, and then he corrected himself, saying, "Well, actually, the first book." And it seemed like, I mean, I maybe I'm wrong, but he seemed really fucking high, like glassy eyed and everything. So
Anybody can get
Wow.
high, Linda.
I was thinking, like, I'd probably have to be high for that fucking interview too.
Have you ever been high as fuck?
Linda, how do you defend yourself choosing this movie and this character?
So Mark Coppola, so Cage's
Yes.
brother, I think Cage maybe should divorce this brother.
Pop his head up again.
Because Mark Coppola adores and cherishes the Left Behind books and begged Cage to pretty please be in this fucking bullshit movie to satisfy his
He's
insane delusions.
A pastor.
Yeah, I'm just gonna assume right now, because I don't know anything nice about him, that he's one of those pastors. Yeah.
Well, he said that in an interview, Cage said that his brother's the one who inspired him to look into it. But then he also says that he says the fact that the rapture takes place for my character on an airplane is what drew me to the material. I thought it was most unusual. I thought it was so surprising. The concept of people, passengers, disappearing while you're flying the plane.
What?
And to not know how to
Langoliers!
cope with the
What?
fact that
Langoliers!
these passengers are disappearing, and to
What?
realize that it's related to the rapture is a challenge.
Air
Not only for the
disaster has been one of the
character,
most overdone genres since the 70s.
but for an actor, because it was so outside of the box, it was so unlike anything I've done before.
Flight
and I'm
plan.
the sort of person that if there's something that challenges me or scares me, I'm gonna, within reason, go towards it.
No,
And that's
not within
why
reason.
I did it.
No. No, reason's
But then
gone, man.
In the same interview, he says that his brother inspired him to look into it, and then he also says that that he worked with
Tyler Perry?
Vic Armstrong.
Oh.
No, he worked with Vic Armstrong on Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yippee. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's known for its stunt work and not for its embarrassing green screen.
Actually, in that, he was the second unit director for the Crusades and the.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And
That's the worst
Crusades
part
had
of the
a
movie.
second unit director.
They were in the studio.
And in the Shreveport additional photography.
Yeah. Okay, so all the
went
worst
together
parts of the
Louisiana.
movie. Oh, for fuck's
But
sake!
yeah, so I guess they worked together, and he said that he brought it to him, but then one of the writers was saying that he was so excited when Cage's people told him that he'd be or no, he said that they passed it to Cage's people, not thinking that he'd be interested. So I don't fucking know. I mean, it's a Cage story.
Everybody has
so-
stories. Yeah, well,
This-
and he always does. Like, I thought it'd be really fascinating to be in a talking cat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this was his Vic Armstrong's 5th time directing. After this
Sort
is
of.
when he directed that A Sunday Horse.
Yeah.
I need to share the description for A Sunday Horse.
Oh,
with you
Jesus
guys.
Christ. Do we have to
Like,
take the
oh,
kids
that
out of the
was
room
like
for this one? Yeah.
It's a biographical family movie from 2016.
Uh-huh.
So in the last 3 or 4 years, he hasn't done anything. So this is what I guess made him stop. After a near fatal accident on a horse, the experts thought that thought was nothing special. A determined rider from the wrong side of the tracks defies all the odds to pursue her dreams of winning a national jumping championship. A Sunday Horse, y'all.
I don't think it can be any worse than the Brie Larson movie she made on Netflix, but I'll buy it.
Oh, you
Well,
you
he's,
you had me at Brie Larson movie, and Netflix was just the icing.
Well, as you were saying earlier, Adrian, he's been a stuntman, but he's been a stuntman since 1966.
Yeah,
He's
but
been
he,
doing
but
it
he,
for a
well,
long
I mostly
time.
mentioned him being a stunt coordinator since that's
Yeah.
what he done,
Yeah.
more recently. Like director
Yeah.
is definitely some side shit for him.
Well, his first gig was running horse riding stunts for Gregory Peck in Arabesque.
Oh man, that
And,
movie's bitchin'.
and he was also the stunt coordinator and quote unquote unicorn master in Legend. One
Oh,
of the
for
greatest movies of
fuck's! Oh
time.
god
Was
damn
he in
it!
charge
Oh.
when the set burned down?
Yeah, is he the one who burned down the 007 stage? Because I like to think that Ridley Scott just did that on purpose. Yeah, he was just
He
sitting
was
there
also the
reading
second
his
unit director
Bible,
there.
minding his own business, and huffing spray paint, and then he's like, Jesus wants me to do this.
God told me to.
That's what this movie needed, Richard Lynch showing up.
Yes.
Causing Andy Kaufman to kill himself, Speaking of suicide, Leah Thompson's in this.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And she
yes,
plays the
I-
really batshit Christian lady, who's Cage's wife, and although they're never on camera together, she was in Jaws 3D, Some Kind of Wonderful, and the Back to the Future series. She
I
old.
remember Jaws 3.
And hello, Howard the Duck.
Yeah, she
Look at
fucked a
that
duck.
fucking feeling.
Yep.
No, she's actually part of the movement to bring him back, and
Bring back duck fucking?
Linda, she fucked a duck.
Just like Sonic the
yeah.
Hedgehog fucked that human chick in that one game.
That's true.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
He's a humanoid duck. But anyway,
I don't think this
was-
is the movie to discuss our furry porn on. Let's save that for a different one. I'm sure there's some
Yeah,
CGI
let's-
kids movie that Cage did the voice to, which
Yeah.
implies it heavily, and we'll be able to talk all about
That's
the
true.
yiffing.
Oh god, it's so fucking great. Anyway, when I first saw her,
You
I
think?
was
Sure.
thinking like, I was thinking like, oh, Leah Thompson, you are too good for this. What are you doing?
No, she ain't.
And then I thought like, wait, when's the last time I saw Leah Thompson? And then
And
I
now
looked
you
her
know
up on
why.
IMDb.
Yeah. She ain't
Now
too
you know
bad.
why.
It's like, oh, you're not too good for this. Oh,
She's
I'm
hanging out with
sorry.
Mr. T and Corbin Burnson doing shit like this.
Yeah. So,
Corbin Burnson, director of Christian Mingle.
yeah.
Oh boy.
That happened, and we all let it happen.
I gotta ask, I know I've seen a lot of the stage plays, and I watched a bunch of the movies on my birthday last
Bible
year
Man?
when I got really drunk. But how many of you have actually watched or seen any of the Medea plays and movies?
So no, I haven't seen any of the Medea stuff. I saw one thing that Tyler Perry actually directed. I saw Good Deeds, which
Okay.
stars him not in drag. And that
Okay.
was awful. And I there was one time Diary of a Mad Black Woman was on TV and I tried to watch it, but I couldn't get over the fact that the shots were edited incorrectly, which
Not
is a
only
small thing to
that-
get hung up on.
Not only that, all his work reminded me of this movie because everything in it is just as bad. But he at least does it in a way that
he
you're
courts that
expecting.
market. He does
he
court
got
that
it.
market, though. He's shameless.
He got
Like,
it.
Tyler
but
Perry has
also,
no shame.
This movie was missing what makes those movies fun to me, which is you have people who do stage acting and then you use them for film acting. Some people make the transition and they do really, really well. Other people, not so much. Tyler Perry uses the people from his stage productions in his movies. And you can tell, by God and thunder, those people cannot act. They're
I'm a
acting for
project.
stage. Yes, it's literally just spelling things out for you when it's like, this is a movie. You don't have to do this. And they do it, but it's funny as fuck when they do. And that's
And
what
they
this movie was
gesticulate and shit.
missing.
It's like silent film acting, Ed shouting.
Yes. It's like, why are you doing this to yourself when you are an educated, independent person? You don't need this person in your life.
I can be
You
bad
don't
all
need
by
to do
myself.
Yes, exactly. You don't need this shit, but it makes the movies funny. It's a charm of stupidity.
If you'd put Tyler Perry or any of his people in this, you might actually have better portrayals of black
Well, see,
people.
that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly in my notes.
Okay.
I have that you have like colorblind casting, you have just like so fucking white it hurts casting, and then you have this fucking movie where like people overcorrect and like they're
did you
trying-
guys?
it's
Did
like-
either of you see Kirk Camerons Saving Christmas?
Yes,
No.
Because it had the same problem. It had the exact same problem.
I
Well,
agree.
it's like an hour and a half of somebody proving to the world that they're not racist.
They failed so
You
hard.
know? Like it's like I have a lot of friends who are black. The movie.
Yeah,
So-
but
so
they do
a
hate
bunch
the little
of-
people.
They really do. They,
Yeah.
So, but check this though. A bunch of black dudes do some 1984 style breakdancing in a shopping mall to a generic drum loop, which no one would ever listen to on purpose because. And then a bunch of white bread crackers kind of stand around. A budget crowd of white bread crackers, by the way, slow clapping in unison.
Mm-hmm.
And so in
As you do.
this movie, if you were black, you were either one, dancing for white people's amusement, two, you're an unseen ball player or his wife or his daughter. Go Jets! Or three, you're a white journalist's amusing friend who lives off camera and then vanishes, so he's not in the rest of the movie anyhow. And then you get the priest who wasn't so
Priest, yeah.
priestly enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
what
like
did you do
all-
that wasn't so priestly, Mr. Priest?
Right, yeah, that was my. It's like, oh, I only said the words and I only diddled children a little bit.
That's kind of like Jar
Now-
Jar, where like, Jar Jar Binks, what did you do that got you excommunicated from your city? It's like, oh, Miss, I just clumsy. It's like, no, you did.
No,
things.
that's your story.
It's like,
Okay,
it's
so
the raping.
in the 2000 Left Behind, the priest was a character. By the way, he had more than one scene. Like he was a fairly major character, and the guy who played him didn't act so well. The scene's kind of overdone. It's like, God, why don't you hear my words? But it wasn't just this tacked on things like white girls like, I don't understand, priest, why are you still here? I don't believe in your bullshit. Well, I didn't believe in my bullshit either, child. Like, well, fuck you then. Bye. I'm not in the movie anymore. Bye. I can't hear you. I can't hear people who are in the movie. Bye.
Well, that's the thing about this movie. There are no like outright bad black characters.
That's because there aren't any black characters.
And there are no
Cats in America?
You
That's-
get Jordan
Uh,
Sparks in there who flips out with a gun and decides they landed the plane just to steal her
Yes.
daughter, and the other people missing are just part of a cover up,
But
which is hilarious.
the cover for the video movie whatever has everybody. Well, it has Cage and
And his Cage looking really bloated and awful.
Yeah, he was photoshopped
And confused.
into that.
I ate
And
the
it
whole
has,
buffet. How did I get here?
and it has Chloe, and it has what's his butt Cameron the Chad Michael Murray's character,
Yeah.
and it has her, and it's like, well, she's
Well,
like, she has nothing to do with the story.
Linda,
I mean, you could
she
just
was a
cut her
really
out
big
and-
star 7 years before this movie came out.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Get
it's
your
yet
armor.
again
Get your
another
armor.
attempt for them to be like, see, we're not racist.
Yeah.
And there are no Asian people.
No,
in
there's
it,
the
and there are
one.
no,
There's the one guy on the plane, but he's a sinner because he believes in UFOs.
That's right.
Oh,
I'm pretty.
right.
That's his
Just
entire
like
character.
you.
He keeps mentioning
Forgot
alien
about him.
abduction and UFOs. That's just, and it's like, okay, so if you believe random, unsubstantiated bullshit, then you won't get raptured. It's like, well, wait a minute. Then why'd the Christians get raptured? Oh, oh.
Movies. And
Religious
then
movies are bullshit.
You
Fuck this.
have the Muslim.
Yes.
And
Yeah. You get the Muslim guy who looks like Jeremy Sisto. It's all like, little man, I can help you with your luggage. I can help myself with my luggage. Fuck you and fuck your face and your phony God too. I want to pray to God. Yeah, who's God? A smelly brown God, I bet. Fuck you. I'm a gambling man. I got a soul patch,
You wanna know where I
bitch.
get my clothes from, you little bitch? Fuck you.
What's a urinal? Yeah, I don't even know what a urinal is. You disgust me.
Yeah, your mother's a urinal. Yeah.
My boyfriend, who is in the Jets and injured his elbow, took my daughter. I'ma shoot you and shoot myself.
But I don't remember seeing any Hispanic characters either.
Oh no.
I think there
Ah.
were. It's just I don't give a shit to
I saw one of these once that had Paul Rodriguez in it, but fuck him and fuck that movie. So
I fucking love this scene where the guy with the shotgun goes up to Chloe and like, oh no, he might shoot her.
the Duck Dynasty guy's got a shooter. Oh no.
Yes.
Right? I love their idea of a bad guy with a shotgun.
You know, there was a
looks
lot
like-
less rape in this rapture than I thought there'd be.
So this is what happens when the rapture goes: is those cars are suddenly driverless and planes and helicopters crash. You know, because God's so merciful and shit.
That's
you know,
right.
and then everybody else is like, "Hey, you guys! All the good people went away. We're officially the bad people. We are. We're criminals, and we know it. Let's just up and do it. Wee looting! Yay! That's how it works."
I don't know. My favorite part is still the I know what's going on. It's like
Oh,
I know.
oh.
I've read this. I
Oh,
heard a thing back
fuck.
in Bible camp
Yeah.
when I was at school, and
Oh,
I was
okay,
a little
no.
kid. And
Okay,
they
so-
told us
so-
this is the rapture.
So the lady in the Jackie O sunglasses, she's freaking out in her seat, and Chad Michael Murray's all like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "No, I won't tell you what it is. I won't." She
Yes.
goes into the potty and she shoots up really quick. Then she gets back in her chair, and they repeat the exact same scene.
yes, yes.
She gets back in the same pose, goes right back to not looking at him. It's like, she just shot some fucking heroin. She's fine.
And this is all after 9/11, so she somehow had like a syringe on
In her
board,
lipstick?
and Jordan Sparks had a gun.
Yes.
I think the big old fat guy next to the little guy
Yeah, he
who
did.
got raptured,
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to be air marshal or something, and I think he was
Yeah.
supposed to have a gun.
Yeah,
I can't confirm it. I kept going. This is another movie where it's kind of hard to pay attention to the screen. Here's a big fucking problem with this movie, right? This movie's
That
about
was
like what
lame.
100 minutes or so, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit it's really long for what it is. And it's not as if they have that much story to tell or that much
No.
character shit to go through. They don't. No, Vic Armstrong does not know how to direct actors. And so this is one of those movies where there's no cross-talking at all, and actors wait for each other to finish speaking before they speak. And not only do they wait for the previous person to speak, it's not like a Mammoth thing where it's bam, boom, boom. You know, it's like, no, there's a huge fucking pause in between every line of dialogue. There's a pause large enough to fly a fucking airliner through.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it reminded me of the Medea films, because it has that stage actor quality to it where everyone is waiting for the gravity of what was said to sink in, and then you continue the scene.
Which works sometimes if you got the right kind of line. It's not for sure going to work on it. You're never going to mistake this for a Robert Altman or an Orson Welles movie. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah. I mean, it kept reminding me like of that, and also the Roger and Stan Smith in American Dad episode where they're in a play together and they're trying to outact each other. And Roger's like, "Are you the Pinata Man?" And he waits like 5 seconds before he says, "See." And then people in the audience are like, "Oh, wow, he's so good. He made us wait to know the answer." That's pretty much everything they fucking did. It's like, I'm gonna outact the shit out of you. Well, too bad there's no substance in this fucking movie to make it interesting.
Yeah, no.
Dialogue is
it's clunky as fuck.
Worst.
Yeah.
So you're Chad Michael Murray, the reporter. I'm wet now. You're wet, huh?
Yeah.
You're a random blonde woman I just saw in an airport, and I'm somebody. I'm into you for no reason. You're into me, huh? That's real good. That's fascinating. I'm gonna buy you some jams and jellies and shit. Like, wow.
I don't believe in God. I don't believe in God either. Hey, you want a bone?
He was being a good man. That's how you know she liked him, because she is a good woman doing the best she can in a bad situation, and he's a good man.
Let's smoke some reefer and deny Christ.
My mom's so fucking stupid for loving God.
Hey, you want to go have sex in the bathroom? Only if it's anal. All right.
It's funny you'd say that, because when they first showed the stewardess, the
one he's supposed to be fucking.
I seriously thought, like, I bet he's with her because she's willing to do anal.
Yeah.
She just looks like an anal person.
Was her sin that her car was all scuffed up and she's really bad at driving? Was that it?
Yeah, those women drivers. Am I right?
Apparently, the one of the writers, the one who came up with the whole idea,
as far as you can come up with any of this.
He said he was on a plane on his way to a conference to talk about Bible prophecies.
And he was snorting markers, and he thought, what if rapture?
He saw a pilot flirting with a stewardess, and she was flirting back, and he noticed that he had a wedding ring on, and she didn't.
Ooh.
It's his promise ring. Hello.
He promised himself.
So he marched right over to them and said, "So, going to hell much?" Uh-huh. Like I thought.
Which is really the shit I hated they set up in this, where the two stewardesses are talking. She's like, "So, have you and him?" He's like, "Well." It's like, "Oh, give me the details." Like, "Well, we're not, but we're gonna spend a lot of time together in London." It's like, Nick Cage has a dilemma. He might bang this girl. He might commit fidelity.
Yeah. Sort of, kind of, almost having an affair is as good as having an affair, guys. God isn't that picky.
Yes, and then she gets self-righteous about it. It's like, "You lied to your family and your daughter. Rah.
How dare you, you mother bitch!"
And apparently, like, they've been working for a long time now.
And she,
long
like, it
to
never came up, like, you think.
Considering an affair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess, like, ever since he first met her, he's been taking off his wedding ring, or what?
Which usually leaves a mark on your finger.
Yeah.
And then his friend, who also works at the airport, comes by on that little cart.
You guys want some groovy U2 tickets? It's like, no, I would have wanted them 15 years ago. Bye.
He basically comes by just to give Nick Cage's daughter character the tickets for her dad, and it's like, why didn't you just fucking give it to him yourself? Like, what the fuck,
Oops.
dude? Like, hey, so here's proof that your dad's been planning on cheating on your mom. Have a good day, bye.
Were they U2 tickets? Because she moves in mysterious ways. Oh,
He's getting 2 tickets to paradise.
oh shit! Yeah, that's why this movie needed any money.
Yes.
So
That
now
fuck
the
you
real
walk on
question
water.
is about the movie: did they get to see the concert?
Yeah.
I think it would be better if it was a race against time to see the concert.
So the daughter Chloe there, when we see her, she's first in the airport, and then her mom's like, "Oh, your dad, you're not going to get to see him because he's at the airport." She's like, "What a coinkydink, I'm at the airport." And then Chad Michael Murray has an awful Christian woman yelling at him about the end times, and she walks up to the awful Christian woman and is equally awful and says, "So, what kind of God would allow mudslides? I mean, that drink's ridiculous."
What kind of God allows my dad to be on that plane? It's like a job.
I'm
God?
going to selectively blame God for things. And she's like, it's a fallen world. God made it perfect, and then mankind just sort of broke it. And it's like, oh, you believe in original sin. How come the babies were raptured then?
Yeah.
What? What? This doesn't even work. So in the movie, all the atheists and agnostics are depicted as whiny bitches. You're whiny bitches because they didn't get what they wanted from Santa.
Yeah.
You know. So this makes complete sense. Since content, wealthy people are always deeply and desperately religious, whereas poor and set aside people are always like really atheist and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that's not true at all. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know how it be.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should have gotten somebody who's actually religious for this show. But
Yeah, we're gonna get
ordained priest.
oh Jesus!
You paid your $2 too, huh?
But
Oh.
you don't believe in what you're reading.
I believe that I paid $25 to tell you what I believe, and you have to listen to it.
I knew every chapter and verse, but I didn't believe the words.
Look at this. Yeah. Yeah.
His
All right,
voice
I just
rings
blessed
forever in my
whiskey.
ears.
Well, I'm a high priestess in the the Church of Mad Love. So I count
Oh,
right
shit.
You're a pagan whore.
I'm a big fan of
but-
Judas Priest.
Yeah, is Judas a priest?
Ram it down, straight to the heart of this town. Ram it down. So to recap, if you were an old lady with dementia, you will go to hell.
Yeah.
If
He
you are
sometimes
a
gets
Muslim,
confused.
you will go to hell. If you are thinking about having an affair, you will go to hell. If you are less than 5 feet tall, you will go to hell. Unless you're a little
You're
black
a
girl.
little short for heaven.
If you are annoyed by your religious mother, you will go to hell. If you believe in
Must be this
UFOs,
tall.
you will go to hell. If you are a less than enthusiastic priest, you're going to go to hell. Even if you're spouting your bullshit, kept other people from going to hell.
You know, as much as I hated this movie, I really did enjoy the absolute joy the looters had when they rode by on their scooter to take the girl's purse. Like, no, that was my brother's.
My
they're
brother,
just so
his
happy
clothes
about
turned empty. So in the 1998 movie Apocalypse, when the rapture happens, all the clothes are neatly folded instead. Yeah.
That's so considerate.
And I think, like, wow, that's some God shit right there. Who else could fold some clothes, right?
Whereas I was doing some research in IMDb, and I saw that somebody else brought up the damn good point of, like, when she's in the mall and all the kids and people get raptured, there's clothes. There are clothes falling from the sky. So what? Did they fly? Did they float?
So those
raptured?
children were dangling from the railing right
They
at the
were
moment of the rapture.
jumping.
He took them to protect them.
They were taking leaps of faith as they were raptured.
As Chloe was going to, obviously.
So none of us was raised super religious. You think if you were out in a public place, like you as an agnostic or atheist would go like, okay, I get it, rapture. Okay, all right. Yeah. Like that'd be the first thing that comes to your mind. It's like, oh yeah, no, what else could this be? I have made a terrible mistake. Okay. I see it now, God. I get it. All right. Yeah.
Her mom had been telling her all about it for a while.
You just need to hear me out, sweetheart. You need to surrender all free will because you're a sinner, see? Just like Mama.
It's like, I want you to know I'm in heaven telling you I was right.
I'll see you in hell from heaven. Bye.
Oh no, this must be the rapture. I'm going to throw my mom's Bible out the window.
That's what I think of Mr. Coupleton's test. Yeah.
I'm just saying that rapture, if there are as many faithful people as this movie implies, freed up a lot of parking spaces, I bet.
Yeah.
Made a lot of room.
But it didn't take away
traffic.
people that were, killing others in traffic.
No.
Like, I'm going to ram your car because I'm mad. Grr.
Well, this 7 years is going to be really hard. Yeah, fuck you guys. Bye.
Well, and I can see, if this actually happened, I could see a lot of people being sad. I could see a lot of people freaking out, but I don't see people being like, time to loot.
Yeah, no, they turn on a dime and loot. That's one of my issues with every version of this story. It's like, I have a feeling it wouldn't really sink in that fast.
No.
Yeah,
but this is a story for end times Christians who are a death cult. So
I think. Well, I know Stephen King did it better. Not only with the Langoliers, like you guys were talking about, but also with The Stand.
Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking about was the Japanese horror movie Pulse. There is an American remake, but I'd rather talk about the original. See, that one's a lot more interesting really because in that one, we get to know the characters a lot better, and it's not an all at once event, so it's not a disaster movie. It's a horror movie, so they're random vanishings, and they're trying to figure out the common thread to it.
I still gotta say, I kept thinking of American Dad because they did a special on the Rapture and showed everyone going up to heaven naked, and Stan has this guy that looks like Jesus take him behind a building and tells him, "Now take your clothes off." He's like, "Oh, okay." And, and it flashes forward. It's like, it wasn't until he had me bent over the barrel that I started to question this was not Jesus.
Did you just reference that in the bonus episode, or am I having deja vu?
No. He brought that up before. I just don't remember which one. Jesus walks.
Could it be Satan?
If you want to get to heaven, you got to raise a little hell.
That's right. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Send lawyers, guns, and money.
Yeah. Hey, was there a... Yeah.
No, sure, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Every time I watch, I'm still somehow tripped up on the shitty early 90s sitcom music.
I know.
And how it overlaps with serious music when they're about to collide with the other plane and when Chloe's making room for landing with the truck.
The movie does sporadically try to be funny, and it's really ill-advised every time it does. Also, the audio in general is really bad. I'd like to point out, there's a lot of outdoor scenes where there's just no sound. There's no ambient sound at all, and it's like, I don't know if I'm believing this. There'd at least be wind or crickets or birds or something.
Yeah, that's why I honestly was like, was this something that was meant to go straight to TV for the Women's Network and Hallmark and shit like that? Because it really was that type of music.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and like I was saying, with the scene when, especially, it's especially noticeable in the scene where he's about to collide with the other plane.
Yes.
And it's serious music. Oh man, there's action. And then it's on top of that, it's like.
The part with the other plane too. It's there's another plane, and you can tell it's a different plane, not the same plane, because it's lit up all green inside that one. And on that one, both pilots got raptured because they weren't trying to bang the stewardess, but there's still a lot of passengers on board. And the plane starts going down, and it hits the cage plane. And I'm thinking wow, God, you're such a major dick. You're just killing everybody.
Yeah.
It's
God
like, turns
has
out
a
Old
sense of
Testament
humor.
God wasn't as mean as New Testament God, people.
No.
Well, and I mean, I hate to get all like semantic and shit, but like, isn't the
Power through it.
isn't the whole book of Revelations from like the like additions to the Bible?
Yes.
Yeah. It's New Testament. It's at the end.
Yeah.
And like, isn't there supposed to be
In-
some crazy shit like a dragon or like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
flying
yeah.
woman?
Revelations is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the only book in
Where
the Bible
Dio
that takes
gets
place
most
in
of
the
his best
future.
material.
Yeah. Hunter Thompson referenced Book of Revelation quite a bit, and so did
Yeah.
Genesis a few times. Genesis the band, not the book from the Bible, because
Yeah.
the Bible was written by a whole bunch of different Jews at different times.
Yes.
There's no cohesion at all.
Well,
Speaking
and
of,
also a bunch of people trying to maintain their power.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a king's version of the Bible. Linda, do we have anything for your segment of wonderfulness?
Yes, actually.
Da-da-da-da-da. What's that segment called?
I want his clothes off.
In a Christian way.
Yeah. But not before marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of naked people up in heaven apparently.
Yeah.
Because they left their clothes.
Man, it
Heaven
is a
is
fucking
floating option.
Pasolini porno up in heaven right now. Damn.
Heaven's,
Everything's flopping around up
pretty
there.
rocking, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all get their tickets to the orgy.
You can rock out with your cock out or jam it with your clam out.
It's your one-way ticket to
Oh,
midnight.
I see.
Yeah. Well, according to certain doctrines, the marriage is off once you're up there, too, because it was till death do you part. So, back in the dating pool. Yeah, yep.
Oh, and I have to ask, in the scene when Chloe's making all the space with the truck for them to land,
Oh, God.
who the shit has a compass app on their phone?
I was wondering
Troy.
the same thing when he's like, pull up your compass app. I'm like, that's a thing?
Yeah. I was like, what? Like,
But then again,
I know
Grimm
that
did
there
have
is
an app. Grimm, the show, did have an app of every mythical creature out there. So
Oh, well, I mean, I have that app. but-
obviously,
There's an app
fucking
for that.
Hufflepuff.
Fucking Ravenclaw, thank you very much. Yeah, were you able to find any fun reviews, Donwald?
A lot of them were very angry Christians about how this was not a very Christian movie, or
Yeah.
this removed a lot of the Christianity.
I actually
from it.
noticed that there's actually mainstream Christian critics who were very down on both this and the 2000 Left Behind.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, and quite a few were down on the Apocalypse series. They're like, this is why people think Christian movies are ridiculous. And I'm like, well,
Yes.
yep, that's why.
let's see. We have. Oh, yes. This was one of the most boring movies I've ever watched. Nothing interesting happens for like 45 minutes. Then something happens, and then nothing else interesting happens for like 45 more minutes. Like something mildly interesting happens, then a sappy ending. It literally could have been condensed down into like a 5-minute YouTube clip. I feel ashamed for just having watched the whole thing. I can agree.
Yes.
And then we have
Watched it like
this.
3 times.
This
It
was,
never
I
gets
believe,
easier.
titled "Kirk Did It Best." I very much preferred the Kirk Cameron version. I felt that this version simply glossed over the inconvenient parts of religion and went for drama. I've seen worse acting,
Can't have drama.
but was supremely disappointed in the direction this movie was taken.
They really wanted that Antichrist and I hate the UN part in there, didn't they?
I know, they really did. Everyone likes a little Antichrist.
Yeah.
But the winner goes to do not watch under any circumstance. This was so disappointing. I was so looking forward to an excellent movie because honestly the storyline has the potential to really be impressive. But the acting was worse than middle school plays, and the writing was even worse than that. Cage should be ashamed.
Well, he should.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't actually feel like I didn't have any issues with his acting. I really didn't.
Yeah, but
just-
we barely get him, and he hardly has anything to do.
Yeah.
He's sort of mostly sitting down. And then he
I
goes in the
know.
other
He
room, and he's all
was-
like, everybody on the airplane that I'm the captain of, that's a real airplane that's flying right now, you all need to
Yeah.
calm down, okay?
He's kind of like
Alright?
Sebastian Shaw. He did all of his acting behind the mask. He's acting with his eyes.
But I feel like he gave like his best performance considering the shit sandwich that he was in.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he was acting the fuck out of it, and for once he wasn't just like chewing up the whole fucking scenery, and he didn't like have any cage rage.
Well, you
but,
can't
I mean,
cage
it
rage
was
when you're
boring,
getting
but-
Jesus points.
To be clear, this movie is just cutting back and forth between two things. Cage in a cockpit gradually figuring out, it's like, maybe this is like in the Bible. And Chloe on the ground being all like, oh no, more bad things happen, and it looks like I'm not going to find my brother. Oh no.
Oh, no. I love that she's left holding his clothes, but then she's looking for him at home. Like,
He ran around naked somehow. He just sort of jumped out of him.
everybody's freaking out around me.
There's also a part where Chloe climbs up on top of a bridge and she's totally going to kill herself.
Yeah,
And then the
that's what I
phone
was
rings.
talking
And it's
about.
like, come on, Chloe.
Hey, it's Bo. Bo to my friends.
I was watching the interviews.
Oh no, it was Buck.
for
Was
the-
it Buck? Was his name Buck? I wanted to call him Fuck.
Oh, wait. Yeah. No. The Kirk Cameron guy, the reporter's name is Buck. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Buck. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
fuck
didn't have
Rogers.
Any.
My
yeah.
name is Buck, and I'm here to fuck.
That's right.
Well, like all those Camerons that you call them Buck.
Yeah.
Because wasn't that his real name or something like Cameron Williams? But my friends call me Buck. Or some shit like
Call me
that.
Buck.
But anywho, I saw an interview with him, and speaking of which, the special features on the DVD, even the fucking special features, all have like background noise going on. At one point, I think there's like the backing up truck noise, like.
Nice.
It's all the sound effects that were missing from the movie. They were on the special features.
Yes, you can hear people dropping shit, and it's like, wow. So it's basically the same effort.
I saw a commentary once on a Christopher Lee movie that he'd done in Germany. I think it was Castle Blood. And there's one point where one of them quips, "I don't like the music," and there's ice cream truck music in the background. They're recording it in a house in summer with the windows open.
That's awesome.
Anywho, there's this interview with Chad Michael Murray Abraham,
Ben
where
Helsing.
he says, yeah, Esquire. But this kind of adds also to my theory that he was high.
Yeah.
And he says, here, I like to think that, he's talking about his character, Book. I like to think that he's my version of Anderson Cooper. Cool, young, and he's seen a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I think of.
I
him.
Anderson
really got
Cooper,
that
he's like
sense from him.
16. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that sense
He's
from him when
cool
he's
and
putting
young.
his camera in people's faces. Like, why won't you help me?
Yeah.
I gotta die.
Everybody's so most of the movie takes place in first class, and all our characters are first class fuckwads. And then he goes back into coach is like, let's see what the simple folk think. And he's poking his fucking Canon Rebel or whatever the shit and recording people with their tears and shit. And he's like, so kind of sad, huh? My child is gone. What the fuck with you? And what about you over there, mister? My wife.
He
Who
is
believe
the
in
found
Jesus.
footage guy. It's like, why are you still recording? Because people are gonna want to know how this all went down.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
That went right to his YouTube channel. Yeah, I know you got that up to the minute and shit. Yeah.
I'm gonna get so many hits.
If I survive, hit like and subscribe to my channel.
Is this why Buck's going to hell? Probably.
Yeah. For fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yep. Sure was some kind of religious movie there.
Y'all ready to face this shit
Oh,
off?
for fuck's sake. Yeah, I want to stab fucking burning popsicle sticks under its thumbnails.
Yes.
What do you have?
Donnie, I bet you got one.
I do.
What's it sound like?
This was a Adult Swim version.
All right.
For Rayford Steele, we have Meatwad. For Buck Owens, we have Master Shake. And for Melvin, we have Carl. The celebrity appearance would be as the old lady is Tyler Perry. Just because it would have been a beautiful casting. Oh, we're home. Oh, he gets confused.
I suspect I don't read the Bible as often as you do. Get out of my face. You know what's interesting is in the 2000 movie, the attitudes towards the mother from the pilot and the daughter are actually reversed to what they are in this.
That would
because
make sense.
Rayford Steele, the Marlboro Man in that one, is the one is like, oh, blah blah blah, your mom, she's a bitch, and the daughter's like, at least I'm trying.
Yeah.
I also love that fucking name, Rayford.
Rayford Steele.
Rayford and Buck.
Yeah.
Sounds like he should be like a porn star. Rayford Steele.
Dick Stoneman. Linda, you got a face off?
It's not a traditional face off.
Okay, let's hear your alternative face off.
I'm changing the story.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean,
well, it
as
needs
we-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we discussed before, not only did the Langoliers and the Stand do it better, but with my version, I feel like, okay, when she goes into the nursery and all the babies are missing, I wish that they could we could change it so there's only one baby and it's one badass motherfucking baby. and so it's the last baby that's survived. So
You are
people
the last baby. You possess the power of the glow.
See, that's exactly it. People start revering said baby and they follow the baby, and like the baby rules them all because, you know, he's this badass motherfucking baby.
Oh,
or
boss
she.
baby AD.
But as it turns out, of course, the baby was left behind because it's
Evil baby.
Antichrist.
What if this had been a sequel to The Golden Child?
Damn
Taking place on
right.
an airplane.
Yes.
Oh, there's little one called Cake Butt. It's about a butt with cake all over it.
But you see, since it's the Antichrist being Antichrist, it has to be opposite Christ. So it's going to be white as fuck, and it's going to be a girl.
I'm also a terrible carpenter.
So there you go. That's my story.
Well, my face-off is still white, but I feel like it's still the cure for this. So for our pilot hero, Jesse Ventura.
Oh my god.
Yes.
For his daughter, Lindsay Lohan. For Buck the reporter, Russell Brand.
Holy hell.
Yeah, okay.
And for the religious mom, Lily Tomlin.
Oh my god.
You can keep the same dialogue and all that shit. They'll turn it into a completely different movie just by being
It
there.
would be an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Now it's just too hot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nobody
See,
goes
you
up that
put
loud.
Lily Tomlin in anything, and it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
sploosh.
Did you know they made a TV series out of 9 to 5?
No.
It ran for 6 years.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this like a Lifetime channel?
I don't know what
show,
network
or
it was on.
TNT
You know,
or
this
some
was
shit?
this was in the 80s when we were little. So,
Huh.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this started in
were
82 and ran till 88. Yeah.
Y'all able to find any sort of cagey wisdom and all this shit?
That William Shatner movie with the druid curse aboard the airplane was way better. And it's just really, really easy to be not raptured. So, like,
Yeah.
why bother trying? You know.
Yeah.
Donnie?
Don't leave Kirk Cameron behind.
Yeah, take him. For fuck's sake, take him. Crocodile, you guys. Seriously, though, am I the only one here who saw Saving Christmas?
No,
Donnie
I
did.
saw it.
Oh, you saw it too. Okay.
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry. So while you were watching it, didn't it also get you thinking about how somebody needs to make a rebuttal movie where it's a house party set on Halloween?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Where the guy gets into the car and Kirk Cameron's like, "What's the matter? Why are you so depressed?" People keep saying that Halloween's not really about Satan. It's just not fair. No, I'm going to show you how Halloween's absolutely about Satan.
Yes, and then you can put fucking Nick Cage in there and go, "Oh, I'm going to show you Halloween's about Satan." It's like,
I'm a Christian warrior.
Cause that night was real and not just fantasy.
I guess my wisdom is to be gleaned from this movie is apparently don't trust little people. And also that wait, I had something and now it's gone. Oh yeah, there's a rockin' fucking party going on in heaven apparently. So.
Yeah.
The little guy who then they then make a joke by chucking him off of the slide at the end.
God.
Yeah. No, there was no shame. You know, like
No.
take it one phase further, and Cage would have tossed him.
And they don't show any animals, so I'm just assuming that all the animals are up there having like some big animal orgy too.
Do you remember that Australian science fiction movie from 1985, The Quiet Earth?
Oh my god, yes, Linda and I watched it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was pretty
yes.
bad. So in that
Okay.
one, people are wiped out, and it turns out they were trying to do this thing where they're trying to beam electricity between airplanes, and the result was that it just killed all life. And the only people who survived were people in the process of dying at the time it happened. So one lady was electrocuted
Yes.
by her hairdryer, another guy was getting murdered by his friend, and our main character was in the process of killing himself.
Yes, and then they have to repeat at the end. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, you stopped sleeping with me to sleep with him. Okay, whatever. Time to go back to killing myself.
It's like, yeah, never mind then.
Guys, I just figured it out.
Huh.
Oh god, how could I not see this before? The whole wisdom, the whole point of the movie is that if you're an awesome enough person and if you're interesting enough, then you'll make it to the point where God helps you out, does you a favor by taking away all the kids and all those loud babies and all the party poopers who are like, that ain't right with Jesus. You gotta get right with Jesus.
Gargoyles! Psychics!
It leaves all the awesome people left for an awesome party.
Well, I was gonna say, like, without any children left on that plane, must have been a much nicer flight, actually. Like, nobody's kicking the back of your seat, nobody's crying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot less coughing.
And, like, I mean, yeah, okay, so some people die.
Nobody
because
asking
the
you what a
pilots
urinal
were
is.
raptured.
By the way,
All
that midair
shit.
collision seemed
But-
pretty fucking avoidable, didn't it?
It was.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Oh no, I would have to
Which,
take
going back
evasive
into one of our-
maneuvers!
Going back to one of our bonus episodes we did, if they had John Cusack playing in the tower, he could have possibly helped the people because we know he's not getting raptured.
But see, like, you know, now that I figured it all out, it just left the awesome people and there were no consequences, really. I mean, yeah, some planes were falling out of the sky and all that crap. Yeah, some cars were left without a driver and yada yada yada. But there was no famine. There was no fires,
Nope.
and I mean, other than the ones they set themselves.
They didn't have a budget.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well,
like,
you know, the
really-
food
I mean,
industry's
is it
union,
really
so
that
you know
bad?
they're going to hell.
They talk about how there's going to be like 7 years of hell or whatever, or,
Yeah.
hell on earth, blah blah blah. But you don't see it, so.
Well,
seems to me like a pretty cool
they're talking about
situation.
an awful world where the Antichrist is suddenly in charge. Like, doesn't that happen in most presidential elections? Like, what's
Pretty
different?
much.
I mean,
I just think this would have been a lot better if Cage just decided to go full Cage when he realized it was the rapture. And like, you have to pilot this plane. He's like, oh fuck no! It's like, you're scaring the delusional old lady. He's like, oh, am I? She's like,
If she's so good, what's she still doing
to
here?
be at the holiday side. It's like, no, leave her alone. Stop shaking her.
I'm a sexy cat.
How do you like Frank Sinatra now?
Here's $2 because here's just what you're worth.
He fucking gets out of the plane and rides it like Slim Pickens rides the bomb.
There you go, and that's when you throw the Sinatra on the soundtrack. When I was 17, it was a very good year.
Well, he didn't even seem to add anything like he usually does to the script.
No,
But
maybe
Yeah,
because
I-
it was a Jesus.
I think he
I
was
think
just
that
kind of
the
keeping his head
song-
down. It's like, okay, it's a favor to my brother. Soon it will be over. No one will see it. It's a favor to my brother. Soon it will be over. No one will see it. Oh, God, don't let anyone see it.
Maybe that's why he hid his
I
face
did
when he was
my
flirting with
way.
the stewardess. When he was flirting with the stewardess, telling the stupid joke, and then he just kind of hides
Oh,
his face
God.
behind his cap.
I'm sorry,
I'm
you're only
sorry,
allowed
I
one
was ashamed of
carry
that
on.
line.
I don't know what I'm doing here. You know,
Me
this
neither.
this really should have been a Busey movie.
Yes,
He was doing those
definitely.
kind of movies anyway.
Maybe they will put him in a Left Behind movie.
Busey was in one of the sequels to Apocalypse. Because
Well,
there was
there
the
we
second
go.
one with Jeff Fahey. I think the third one had Corbin Burnson and Mr. T. And
I
maybe
guess
it
we're
was
just
the
missing
fourth
Lou
one.
Diamond Phillips and the Gutenberg.
Oh, Lou
Oops.
Diamond Phillips. Man, the first Power was awesome. Another movie that's better than this.
This is true.
So I guess this is the time to say please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss on Apple Podcast and Podchaser.
For the
and
love of
check out our
God!
stuff on YouTube. Also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Cage's Kiss. We just covered John Cusack for our bonus
You need to
episode.
listen to our Bitchin' Cusack episode.
It's
Yeah.
pretty bitchin'. We covered Tape Heads and Grand Piano, which was actually really fucking good. Both were great. So for just $1, you can hear episodes like that. And also, you can get awesome Adrian art. And I mean,
Well,
you
there's
know, if you.
well, to step on your nuts for a bit, there's also a very cool commentary track we did for The Color Out of Space, which is now on Shudder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you should download the
Yay!
shit out of our Color Out of Space commentary track. For me, I was doing it completely cold.
Yeah,
I had nothing prepared.
it's pretty awesome.
So is Donnie.
Yes, it was a first time
Yeah.
viewing for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going in cold too because it was the first time. Well, the second time I watched it, but so,
Clanky
yeah,
Bottles.
It was a lot of fun. You guys should check it out, and you can for just $1 a month. Also, remember you can find Cage's Kiss on all the social medias. Although I'm most active on Twitter, but you can find us at Cage's Kiss. You can visit our website at cageskiss.com, or you can write us an email, which is always rad, at cageskiss@gmail.com. And check out my other show, Bedknobs and Broomflicks, where we cover witches in entertainment and history, and out of sloppy nightmares and all that fun stuff. But we also cover awesome animals in history and recent history, and I'm just gonna keep going.
You know
because
what
I'm
I
drinking.
just went through this week? I went through the original Addams Family TV series from 63 and 64.
Oh shit!
And there's an episode where the neighbor tells Wednesday and Pugsley that there's no such thing as witches. And so they have to prove to Wednesday and Pugsley that there is such a thing as witches.
Aww.
That show
It's
was
heartwarming.
awesome.
Yeah, it fucking was. And so are the movies.
Oh, yeah, no.
But
That second one didn't make any money. There's no fucking justice.
no.
Fuck
we
you,
love
American public.
Cusack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find out Jones in a movie, you go pay to see it right away. That's all.
Anyway, that's Bedknobs and Broomflicks. That's BROOMFLICKS. Adrian, what you got going on?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. I'm on DeviantArt as Leo the Fox. LeoTheFox. That's all lowercase. It's all one word. DeviantArt is all hickledy-pickledy, but I'm still posting artworks there. And my Patreon's under the same thing. I'm still posting artworks there that you can't see on the DeviantArt or anywhere else. You can give me $1 and have a look at those. Shit's in motion, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am Unreal Goals on Twitter and the Insta-ogram. I'm also the boy who blew over on the Pornhub.
Oh.
And I also have a side thing where I rant for 2 to 3 hours depending on the topic. So
Good
if you
Lord.
have nothing else to do with your life, don't.
What's that channel
other
on,
than
Donnie?
that- Huh?
What's that YouTube thing on?
It's on under Unreal Goals. Because that's pretty much my rules. And you'll be able to see it soon with some amazing art that I will be paying for as soon as I'm sober.
Oh, but why would you be sober? You just watched Left Behind.
Because I'm trying to get raptured.
Fun fact, the authors of the books thought that this Cage movie would breathe new life into the series, and they wound up rebooting it again 2 years later with Left Behind the Next Generation, adapted from the Left Behind the Kids series, because kids are sinners
geez.
too.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Yep, I've never seen that.
Oh,
You know
Jesus
what?
Christ.
I'm not gonna. I've already watched 4 Left Behind movies, and that's probably 4 too many.
I felt the same way about the Tyler Perry movies.
Tyler
It's
Perry
like
Left
2 of
Behind.
their Halloween movies was enough.
So you'll be hearing from us next week when we have a big announcement for y'all.
Oh.
And when we cover Dying of the Light, which is available streaming on all the HBO apps, on Canopy, and on DirecTV.
Ooh, the Schrader.
Schrader.
Nobody could have survived that. Not even the
Yeah.
Schrader dude. In
Well, all right then.
in Apocalypse, the non-raptured people figure out about the rapture from watching fucking 700 Club.
Yeah, you have to be a high-paying member to see all that. Yeah.
Of course,
Don't
that one was shot on Shitio, so it's and it sort of begs the question: it's like, why is this still being progressed if they're so Christian and shit? What? This doesn't make any
no one
sense.
as bad as I am.
Just as surely as Pauline was gay.
I'm gonna stop recording so I can.
My
leave you guys
husband
behind.
gets a little confused. He thinks you're not Frank Sinatra.
That's your Frank Sinatra.
Who's your Frank Sinatra now?
I bet that grandma fucked.
A lot.
She done something.
Oh, this is nice.
Whoa! Whoa! Oh! Oh!
We're home. We're home.
Cage. 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 Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please.